You are welcome here, just the way you are. No more hiding tears, no more covering scars. You are welcome, holy welcome. You are welcome here, just the way you want to be. Bring your deepest hopes and all your wildest dreams. You are welcome, holy welcome, holy welcome. You are welcome here, just the way you are. No more hiding tears, no more covering scars. You are welcome, holy welcome. You are welcome here, just the way you want to be. Bring your deepest hopes and all your wildest dreams. You are welcome, holy welcome, holy welcome. There's something in the air, the dream of life in love, with minds that rest in prayer, sparking joy we're in awe. No matter where your path has been or time will somehow flies, like souls will come home again, true friendship ever thrives. Is this where the magic happens? Can you feel the hearts revealed right now in you and me? The secret is wherever we are. There's something in this smile that can turn a day around. Moments so worthwhile when we find common ground. No matter what the day might bring, right here we can align, knowing that we will be seen as perfect, whole, divine. This is where the magic happens. Let's feel all the hearts close to me and me to you. The secret is wherever we are. So meet me where the magic happens, healing all the hearts, ignited now in you and me. The secret is wherever, the secret is whenever, the secret is together we are.
Good morning. Welcome to our weekly Sunday service at CSL St. George. We're so glad that you're here with us today. So, we are an open, loving, and inclusive community that supports thinking creatively and living a deeply spiritual life. So, let's look at who's on the service team today. So we have Marina Anderson, who's behind the scenes making everything work beautifully. My name is Gwen Hadley. I'll be hosting and guiding you through this service today. We have Alan Stanley, always a pleasure. His music is wonderful, so he'll be singing and playing his guitar. We have Star Starrett, who will be giving invocation. She's one of our practitioners. Bill Smith, also a practitioner, will be providing the reading. And then a special treat, since we need to give Reverend Joe some time off every once in a while, we have plugged in practitioners. So, we're really excited about this. Give them an opportunity that we can get to know them a little bit better. And so with that, Alan, you're up, my friend.
Hello, Gwen. Hello, everybody. This is a song we used to sing in North Carolina when I lived back there some time back. And we'll sing a little bit, and then Star's going to come in and offer our invocation. So you're welcome to sing along. Just sit back and relax. I'm at peace. I'm at peace. I am one with the Spirit. I am calm. I am still. I am doing God's will. I'm at peace. I'm at peace. I am one with the Spirit, and I dwell in the presence of love. I am home. I am home. I am one with the Spirit. I am calm. I am still. I am doing God's will. I am home. I am home. I am one with the Spirit, and I dwell in the presence of love.
Good morning, CSL St. George. I invite you to just take a deep breath. And in that deep breath, notice that there is a spirit within each and every one of us. I call it God. Call it whatever you desire. This power, this beautiful infinite intelligence, it runs through me, for me, and as me, and I recognize this as the truth of my being. And because I know this for myself, I know this for each and every one listening to this now or in the future, for there is only the presence right here and now. And I bless this service, knowing that the inspiration that is coming through each and every one of us is that divine presence, speaking to, for, and on behalf of each and every one of us. And so knowing this, I release it into the law of being, that law that says yes to everything I desire. Consciously or unconsciously, it says yes. And so being aware of that, I send out this blessing of peace, of being at home, of being one with that divine unit I call love. And so I release it, I let it go, as together we say yes, and so it is.
So it is. Thank you, Star. I'm at peace. I'm at peace. I am one with the Spirit. I am calm. I am still. I am doing God's will. I'm at peace. I'm at peace. I am one with the Spirit, and I dwell in the presence of love. I am home. I am home. I am one with the Spirit. I am calm. I am still. I am doing God's will. I am home. I am home. I am one with the Spirit, and I dwell in the presence of love. I'm at peace. I'm at peace. I am one with the Spirit. I am calm. I am still. I am doing God's will. I'm at peace. I'm at peace. I am one with the Spirit, and I dwell in the presence of love. Yes, I dwell in the presence of love. Now I'd like to welcome Bill to do our weekly reading for us. Hello, Bill.
Thank you, Alan. I appreciate the welcome and glad to be here. I chose for today's reading from The Science of Mind, pages 416 to 417, of course, by Ernest Holmes. If someone should ask whether or not God has any intention for him, the answer would be that the only intention God could have, if man is an individual, would be to let the individual alone to discover himself. In this discovery of the self, man impresses the law, which of course is sensitive, creative, and can deduce only, with the images of his own belief about himself, and the law creates a form around those images. He goes on to say, to assert our individuality is to rise above the law of averages into that more highly specialized use of the law, which brings freedom rather than bondage, joy in the place of grief, and wholeness instead of sickness. We cannot do this unless we are first willing to judge not according to appearances. In this judging not according to appearances, we are impressing the law with a new idea of ourselves, a less limited idea, and we are learning to think independently of our existing circumstances. This is what is meant by entering the absolute. And so it is.
So it is. Thank you, Bill. This tune is a Daniel Nahmod tune. Hope you sing along. I just started learning it. Don't be scared. I've played it a couple times. my body, my soul is part of a perfect whole. My heart and my hands are serving a sacred plan. I know that is true when everything all comes down to you. I know that is true and Robert will rely on you. All that I am, all that I am, all that I am, God, I give to you. All that I am, all that I am, all that I am, God, I give to you. My thoughts and my mind belong to eternal time. My words and my song were written down all along. I know that is true when everything all comes down to you. I know that is true. I know that I can rely on you. All that I am, all that I am, all that I am, God, I give to you. All that I am, all that I am, all that I am, God, I give to you. All that I am, all that I am, all that I am, God, I give to you. God, I am you.
Beautiful, Alan. Thank you. I must ask you something, though. We know you sing to your beautiful plants behind you, but do you also talk to them?
Well, it's, you see that this one right here tends to slap me in the back of the head when I start off slow, so I had to get going a little better.
Well, they're gorgeous. Whatever you're
Thank
doing,
you.
keep doing it. Thank you. So now, thank goodness to technology, because we all don't have to be in the same place to share our message. And so Anita will start us off with her talk, their talk, all the practitioners plugged in. And she is actually up north, staying cool out of this hot weather, visiting with her grandchildren. So thank goodness again through technology, though, she has a video for us, and Marina will start that video. Take it away, Anita.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Gwen. I'm so glad that the miracle of technology and a lot of help from Marina has allowed me to participate in this service today and also attend a special event with my family this morning. So we have 5 of our licensed practitioners here to share their thoughts about today's topic. And I'm going to be starting with a brief refresher on the topics that have been presented so far this month, so that we can appreciate the continuity. I thought the talk titles this month were unusual. They piqued my curiosity. Speaking truth to circumstances presents a new twist to the more familiar phrase, speaking truth to power. In the spiritual world, we recognize that there's only one power, which is truth with a capital T. And we use that as another name for God or infinite presence or spirit. So there isn't any need to speak truth to truth, but rather we should speak truth to circumstances, because circumstances are not truth. Circumstances are the result of our prevailing thoughts and beliefs, which is the individual and collective consciousness. The talk title for the first Sunday this month was Monsters, Inc. And that was borrowed from a movie by that name. Reverend Joe began with the challenging question, can you see spirit unfolding perfectly in all circumstances? And from our human perspective, we think that circumstances have power over us. So we might think of them as monsters in our life. The truth is that there's only one power, which is God, living in, through, and as each one of us. We're never separate from it. When we align with that truth, we no longer see ourselves as victims of circumstance. And we see that the so-called monsters were a result of our own thinking. The second week, the topic was Got Me Hypnotized, and that challenged us to wake up from the spell of unconscious living, also known as the dream of separation. We've established that there's only one spirit. God is all there is. Everything that exists is God expressing itself in a unique way. So it follows that we are that. We are God experiencing life as unique human beings. Ernest Holmes said, we're neither separate from God nor different from good. And until we wake up to this truth, we don't know who we are or the power we have access to. Reverend Joe offered 2 essential spiritual practices that will help us awaken from the hypnotic dream of separation. And the first was listening within. And that means having a dedicated, regular practice of meditation. When we step out of our story and into the stillness within, and then spiritual truth is revealed. And the second practice is compassionate listening, where we deal with our external environment by listening with curiosity and a desire to understand rather than to be right. And compassionate listening starts with recognizing our oneness with everyone as an expression of God. That's the meaning of the Namaste. I see the divine presence in you, which is the same in me. Then the title for week 3 was Standing on Shiva, and that was brought to us by our guest speaker and friend, practitioner Eugene Holmes. Eugene Holden. Eugene shared the story of the Hindu god Shiva, who is known as the destroyer of illusion and the restorer of truth. And as the story goes, the goddess Kali is raging out of control against what appear to be evil circumstances. And she is just wreaking havoc on everything. And Shiva steps in to interrupt Kali's rampage and reveal the truth to Kali and redirect her onto a positive path. So here's my new thought interpretation of this story in a nutshell. Circumstances are illusion, right? The result of individual and collective consciousness. Kali is battling circumstances. She's out there fighting windmills as if they are real, and she's trying to solve a problem from the same level of consciousness that created it. So Shiva intervenes to reveal the truth to Kali. And in New Thought language, truth is always love with a capital L, which is another name for God. So with a change of heart, Kali chooses a new plan of action inspired by the question, what would love do? And the message for us all is that action grounded in truth and motivated by love benefits all. Then in week 4, Reverend Joe's talk was called The Wise Warrior. The emphasis in this lesson was not on fighting, but on using wisdom to guide our response to circumstances. And I especially appreciated the quotations that he shared from the Native American chiefs Sitting Bull and Black Elk. And both of these leaders spoke of compassion and courage and commitment and service to others. Neither of them described the wise warrior as one who fights. Reverend Joe pointed out that their wisdom was a result of their own contemplative practices. So, as spiritual warriors, our wisdom comes from contemplating God in everything. And in Reverend Joe's words, every battle won is a win for everyone. So here we are on the 5th Sunday with another interesting title, The Standing Stones. And the first image that comes to me is several large monoliths standing in my way. And other metaphors that come to mind are stumbling blocks or boulders, roadblocks, brick walls. And these represent the obstacles that get in the way of my forward movement. And they block me from my goals, and in this case, from my spiritual growth. Everyone has had the experience of encountering obstacles and feeling stuck. I can see that these things that I call obstacles are circumstances. And what have we learned about circumstances? They're illusion. And so what I've come to recognize in myself is that most, if not all, of the obstacles that I think are keeping me stuck are actually fear in disguise. As our friend Eugene Holden often reminds us, fear is an acronym for false evidence appearing real. Illusion. So just as I was wondering how I would finish my part of the talk today, the perfect quote from the Buddhist teacher Jack Kornfield popped up in my inbox. It was with amazing timing that this came to me. Jack Kornfield said, "When you get afraid or things are difficult, fear is simply the signal that you're about to learn something new. When you feel afraid, it's like the little light comes on that says, 'About to grow.'" And that was just such a perfect message for me. And I hope it's beneficial for some of you also. And so now we're going to hear from practitioner Bill Smith.
I don't look like Bill Smith. I wonder how come Christopher is on the screen. Well, since I'm already here, I guess I'm going to go ahead and do my piece of the talk today. Thank you, Anita. That was beautiful.
Hello.
It inspired me as usual, helped me pull my piece of this talk today together. And the parts that I'm working on today and that I've been working on since I got the information regarding our talk for today for the practitioners is transition and transformation. And as Anita brought up, all these different parts of the week or each weekly topic has been so relevant to my personal life. Since January, I do this often. I'm more of a share what I've been going through and how I've experienced the lessons of the month. They generally fall in suit. I don't know if it does it for you guys, but it does it for me often, that I will listen to a Sunday talk and it is applicable to everything that's going on in my life. So as Anita was speaking, I was running through each of the weekly topics and trying to find out how they correlated with what I've been going through since January of this year. To be perfectly honest, my life has been one big brick wall. There weren't any standing stones because I would have been able to get around them. And basically, I've been blocked. I've been stumped. I did not know what to do. I did not know how to deal with what I was experiencing in my life. The monsters, they were there in front of me, and I did not know how to see through them. I just saw them, and I just looked at them, and I just sort of was stuck in the monsters. I was hypnotized that was as in week 1, and I was hypnotized as in week 2. I was basically stuck in the grief. I lost my one dog in January, my second dog in May. I lost my dear and loving friend Drew on the week of my birthday this year. I spent my birthday in the ICU up in Murray, Utah, saying goodbye to my friend. It's been a very, very difficult block or brick wall that I've been experiencing. And I was hypnotized. And Shiva the Destroyer Shiva is the destroyer of the illusions, was definitely there at my side trying to help me. But I was in the Kali frame. I was in the going nuts. I was in the fear. I was in the, I don't know what to do. How am I going to live my life? How am I going to get through this grief? And it became a battle, as in week 4. And the battle was within myself. The battle was, how am I going to do this? How can I get past this? How is my life going to move forward without my dogs, without Drew? And I was just, I didn't know what to do. I just didn't know what to do. And I saw this big brick wall. And what I did do is what we learned in each of these lessons. I looked through the monsters. I observed at a spiritual level. I went within and I found myself recognizing, as bad as this looks, I know that I will make it through this, that there is good here, that my life is blessed, and that whatever I'm experiencing, I will take it with me as a new and better version of myself. And that's that hypnotizing. I was hypnotized. Yeah, definitely hypnotized. But I listened within, and I listened compassionately. I also had an experience with a friend who had a really horrific experience in their life, something that made me very, very angry. And I didn't know what to do. But I listened with compassion, and I recognized that I love this person. And I'm going to love them through this experience that had made me angry. And I came with that compassion, with that loving. The Shiva and the Kali story, it was our teaching and our philosophy that you can call Shiva, because Shiva jumped in and stopped the Kali mind frame that I was going through the craziness, through the fear of what's next in my life. How can I deal with any more? I can't. And it was the actual Shiva that brought me into center and allowed me to begin that battle, the battle within, to see the light, to see the truth, to see the God within myself, and to know that my life is a becomingness of how I react and how I respond to what it is that I'm experiencing in my life. And those standing stones and the brick wall, it's begun to start to break itself down. And it was just so ironic that Anita used the Jack Kornfield thing about the fear being a signal to grow. I was so caught up in fear of what was around the corner, or like I said before, what's next, that I couldn't see through anything. However, today, week number 5, being a practitioner, doing the work, taking these lessons, the walls are coming, they're tumbling down. And I am seeing the truth. I am becoming a better person. I had my dogs. I had my dear friend, Drew. I supported my other friend who was dealing with a lot of stuff. I created the good that I want to see in this world. And I did it in a loving, kind way. But most of all, I turned the loving kindness into myself and said, it's okay to have these experiences. It's okay to come up in front of a wall. It will. If you do your practice and you go within and you find the God, the love, the kindness, whatever it is that you feel good inside about your circumstances, I promise you, the walls will be gone. And instead of them being standing stones in front of you, they'll be stones you stand on to see in front of you. So with that, namaste. I love you all. And now I'm going to turn it over to the real Bill. The real Bill. I said that with a little Southern accent.
I like it.
All right, Bill.
Thank you, Christopher. I appreciate your testimony and how you can be an example for all of us and how to push through those standing stones. So
yeah, thanks, Bill.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So thank you for having me today. Again, as Anita and Chris have pointed out, I am the real Bill Smith, and I am a licensed practitioner here at CSL St. George. As I was preparing for my portion of today's talk, I was listening to music, something I like to do often while I'm either driving in the car or relaxing at home. Usually there's some kind of music playing. And as the music is playing, I have a habit of trying to identify the artist and the title of the song as soon as it comes on, within a few notes. I'll admit I've been playing this game for most of my entire adult life, and I've gotten pretty good at it. It's a fun test of memory and recall until it's not. Until that time that I can't identify the song. And in the case where I'm not in my car and I can't just like flip it over to look at the title and artist, that's when I start to search my brain for the answer. Oh, I know who that is. Oh, I saw them in concert once. Oh, they used to be, they sang that song at the Olympics. Oh, I can't believe I can't remember. What is wrong with me? I know this. Not being able to recall this is going to drive me crazy. And it does for a few minutes. And later on, something else, sometimes much later, I'll come up with it. And in my case, usually I'll blurt it out. I got it. Now what happens here? Did I actually get smarter over that period of time? No, I don't think so. Did I grow memory cells where there weren't any before? No, I don't think that's it either. No, what really happened is in stopping obsessing on the recall of memory, I was able to kind of clear the decks and allow spirit entry into my thought process. Not that spirit's not ever not there, but when I'm in a frantic mode like that, I'm effectively blocking spirit from participating in the solution. Now, this is an example of unconscious use of the law, and later we'll discuss consciously using the law and the power. It kind of reminds me of a common problem at social gatherings. You try to join in an already running conversation, and because I have an opinion on the subject and I'd like to share it, but I just can't get a word in edgewise. This happened to me a couple months ago, and I didn't want to be rude and step on somebody's toes while they were talking, and eventually I just walked away without being allowed to enter the conversation. And as I was walking away, I thought to myself, this must be how spirit feels when my head is so full of useless chatter, so much, there's so much that spirit could contribute to my life at this point in time if I would only clear and listen. One of the most significant gifts that we've been given as spiritual beings living in this human world is the gift of free will. I cannot imagine living without it, and what a perfect invention it is for spirit to experience as much of life as possible through our experiences. Yet as important as free will is to human existence, it's really a double-edged sword. While it allows us a large degree of freedom, it also leaves us sometimes struggling to find the best way to do things, a certain thing. As there's not a humanness operating or owner's manual, we're often left to others' examples or to deep contemplation on our own. One of those things is our spiritual practices. As metaphysicians, we're all aware of the importance and the power of a daily practice, with prayer and meditation being the most popular form. And there's not a thought police or a meditation monitor there to tell us what we should or should not be thinking about or meditating on. But as we're contemplating how to attack, the standing stones in our lives, this quote from Ernest Holmes is very appropriate. Anita, if you could pull that slide up, please. To daily meditate on the perfect life and to daily embody the great ideal is a royal road to freedom. Now, what jumps out at me about this quote is the perfect life and the great ideal. This is as good a guide to effective meditation as there can be. The perfect life is the life of God. The great ideal is the Word of God. While we are meditating, our focus should not be on my idea of the perfect life, but on the perfect life. And there's only one. This is the point where we park our ego. We let go of all the ideas that come from the intellect, as smart as we may be, and turn it all over to spirit. As my sister-in-law likes to say, shut it down. This is how standing stones become transformed from the big, scary obstacles that they sometimes can appear to be in our human minds to the mirages or illusions that we really know them to be. This is the point where we follow Ralph Waldo Emerson's advice and, quote unquote, get our bloated nothingness out of the way of the flow of the divine circuits. Thank you for your time today. Now I'll pass along to Star and to continue our discussion on the treatment of the standing stones.
Thank
Star?
you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, everyone. Thank you so much. It's been such a joy listening to everything so far. I'm going to read a quote by a mentor of mine. Trust the change, surrender to it as much as you can, believe that you are safe and taken care of, and trust in the subtle, intuitive guidance you are currently receiving in each moment. Okay, so another thing that Bentinho did speak to me about was a flame cannot burn itself, a knife cannot cut itself, unity cannot separate itself. Therefore, God cannot reject itself in any way, shape, or form. It's utterly impossible. Hence, all is included and all is loved, including the standing stones, like not loving yourself as a human being or mind. That's another experience that you're allowed to generate through your free will inside the God substance of awareness, love, light, or infinite intelligence, which is with you 24/7 every second. Your insistence in believing that others are loved by God, but somehow you're not, is a projection. It's an experience. It's a filter you're choosing to look through. So every pain, struggle, lack belief, or emotion consists of awareness, love, light in the highest, most unconditional order. Furthermore, not only are you loved as you are in all ways and always, you are also wanted by God. You are literally desired into existence by the one infinite loving intelligence, or else you wouldn't even experience the thought, I am. You wouldn't even exist. So, what I'd like to read to you now is a poem written by Jeff Foster, a great enlightened kind of poet. And he wrote this with Carlos Quevedo in The Celestial Warrior. And I love this, and I thought it was perfect for the stones that we interact with every day in one way or another. It's called Once. Once I ran from fear, so fear controlled me, until I learned to hold fear like a newborn, listen to it, but not give in, honor it, but not worship it. Fear could not stop me anymore. I walked with courage into the storm. I still have fear, but it doesn't have me. Once I was ashamed of who I was. I invited shame into my heart. I let it burn. It told me, I'm only here to protect your vulnerability. I thanked shame dearly and stepped into life anyway, unashamed, with shame as a lover. Once I had a great sadness buried deep inside. I invited it to come out and play. I wept oceans. My tear ducts ran dry. And I found joy right there, right at the core of my sorrow. It was heartbreak that taught me how to love. Once I had anxiety, a mind that wouldn't stop, thoughts that wouldn't be silent, so I stopped trying to silence them. And I dropped out of the mind and into the earth, into the mud, where I was held strong like a tree, unshakable, safe. Once anger burned in the depths, I called anger into the light of myself. I felt its shocking power. I let my heart pound and my blood boil. I listened to it finally, and it screamed, "Respect yourself fiercely now. Speak your truth with passion. Say no when you mean no. Walk your path with courage. Let no one speak for you." Anger became an honest friend, a truthful guide, a beautiful wild child. Once loneliness cut deep, I tried to distract and numb myself, ran to people, places, and things, even pretended I was happy. But soon I could not run anymore, and I tumbled into the heart of loneliness. And I died and was reborn into an exquisite solitude and stillness that connected me to all things. So I was not lonely, but alone with all life. My heart one with all other hearts. Once I ran from difficult feelings, now they're my advisors, confidants, friends, and they all have a home in me, and they all belong, and they have dignity. I am sensitive, soft, fragile, my arms wrapped around all my inner children. And in my sensitivity and power, in the depths of my wounds, in my fragility, an unshakable presence, in what I named darkness, I found a blazing light that guides me now in battle. I became a warrior when I turned towards myself and I started listening. And so with that, I'd like to say thank you to everyone. And one of my favorite sayings is a Hindu belief called Satchit Ananda. And it means existence, consciousness, bliss. I am that. I am existence, I am consciousness, and I am bliss. And that is what I turn to when I listen to and move through the stones of life. Thank you, everyone. And now I pass it on to Sue, our newest practitioner. Welcome, Sue.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, what a beautiful reading that was. That just definitely shows us the speaking truth to our consequences. Really beautiful. And as all of our practitioners have shared so ably about the standing stones, which is our theme today, they're representing our circumstances and those barriers in front of us. You know, it's life. It's just life. And things happen. And there are many metaphors for the stones, like the standing wall, the brick wall that Chris talked about, that represent our problems. But you know what? Rocks are just rocks. And until they're polished and refined, they're not really very valuable. And what we go about our lives doing is refining those circumstances, like polishing the rocks. And I'm thinking of a diamond, how the diamond is just a lump of coal, and then all that debris is cut off, and the diamond comes out of the rough spots, and it becomes a beautiful, sparkling diamond. And our circumstances provide that for us in our life to
to grow and develop. We're here for experience, and we grow more through those tough times, through those brick walls and beating through the brick walls. That's where we grow, and that's how we become who we really are. So I enjoy listening to Abraham through Esther Hicks, and they say we're always creating and expanding, and that there's no solution without first a problem. And so these problems are here for us to find solutions and to become stronger. They state that even us humans climb mountains for sport. We like to find the hard stuff. And what a joy it can bring to life when we overcome those hard things. This brings to mind a story that I heard a long time ago about these hikers that working up the mountain and climbing hard. And one became more tired and worn out than the other one. And his partner said to him, you know, if you weren't carrying around those boulders in your backpack, you would have an easier time on this hike. And he said, looked in and he said, I don't have any boulders in my backpack. And so he reached in his backpack and started to unpack. The first one was labeled resentment. And then there was a big stone called anger. And then he unloaded guilt and unworthiness. And so these rocks became boulders in his life. And once he unpacked those things from his backpack of life, his journey became much easier and climbing the mountain became easier. So the theme this month recommends that we look into our circumstances and see beyond to the truth. I just completed the final 2 years, very intensive study for my practitioner training. And the first thing in that first year that we studied was ourselves and looking into what happened in our lives to make it the way that it is. And I related it to an onion, that, you know, the layers in an onion, and you peel one away and then there's another one there. So the first layer was my childhood and my parents' beliefs and my sibling rivalries and the events that created rocks in my backpack. The next layer I looked at was relationships and being more mature and the things that come into our lives as we relate with other people and in our lives and in our careers. So I look back at that now as that is how I developed my beliefs. A lot of them came from just what somebody else told me. And to develop my real character, I had to go back and say, is that what I really believe, or is that just something somebody has told me? I'd done that examination before in my life, but you know what? Daily rocks appear in our lives. And there's still places always to examine and that we need to bring out for exposure and closure. One of the things that I struggle with is obsessive thinking. If I run into a problem, that becomes a block wall. That becomes standing stones. And over in my mind, I keep those problems going through me. And in the practitioner training, I also learned to ask some really good questions and stop and say, what's going on in my mind? And where can I find peace in this situation? And how is this here for my growth? What can I learn from this? You know, sometimes it's easier to look back and see how something helped us to grow. But when when we're surrounded by those stone walls, they're really hard to see through. They're hard to see the truth behind them. So it might be, and has proved to me to be, a perfect time to seek out a spiritual advisor. When you're in your darkest moments, you don't want to do that alone. There's always help there. And Diana Ensign, in this month's Science of Mind magazine, in an article called Let's Talk About It, she says, healing transformation frequently begins with our ability to speak about our hardships, those universal accounts of pain and suffering that make us human. And she says universal means we all get something. When we open our hearts in this way to others, we can then receive the support we need. Don't try to do it alone. You can receive support right here from the practitioner team here at CSL St. George. A religious science practitioner is a spiritual counselor, not a therapist, but we are trained and dedicated to listen and to help you have someone to talk to and to share. And when you talk it through, it's so much easier to see through those hidden beliefs to the truth. And we're trained to help you to find the truth, the spiritual truth. Michelle Medrano in the Daily Guides this month wrote, discerning the spiritual truth about a condition or circumstance is one of the greatest skills we can learn. So I love and appreciate how my practitioner training has led me to greater consciousness. I learned and grew through all that study and all that effort, and it was really a blessing for me. And I love serving here at CSL St. George with these great practitioners, our good minister, and all the wonderful people that join us. There's so many good people here to help us unpack our stones from our backpack and to help our journey be smoother, happier, and full of joy. I would like to now lead you in an affirmative prayer treatment to close out our talks today. Please take a deep breath with me and recognize that breath of life. Recognize the presence that is always here, that has been here in our presentation today, that has gone out on the airwaves to reach all that are watching and will watch this presentation. I recognize that I am connected to this life, this spirit, this Mother, Father, God that is always present, always loving, always watching, and always there for us. That spirit speaks to me, guides and directs me, and helps me pass the hard times in life and to find those who are there to support and help me. With God and with my friends and family and others that I seek out, I can see past those brick walls. I can get around the hard times in life and see the purpose for my experience and growth. And I can appreciate, once I'm through those hard times, that they are there for my best and highest good. I appreciate all that is put into the CSL Sunday services, that we have guidance and leadership and beautiful people to love us. I'm grateful for that. And in gratitude, I release my word to the law, that is the action of God, that is there speaking our truth, helping us see through the barriers and to find truth. And with this, with great love and this release, I know that it is always done. It is done, and it is done for our best and highest good. And I say, and so it is. Thank you, and namaste.
Namaste. Our beautiful, wise practitioners. You made me smile. You made me cry. Thank you. Beautiful, beautiful. So we're going to do some announcements. If Marina could make that a little bit bigger, the eyes are failing. Abundant prosperity. We so appreciate all of your support so that we can continue to provide these services and to grow as a congregation. So the many ways that you can help us, you can give through Zelle. It's a bank-to-bank transfer system. You can give online to our PayPal website. You can see it there. And all of this information also is on the web page and also the newsletter. Or you can just scan that cute little QR code. And of course, lastly, we'll always take a check by mail. So whichever way you choose to give, thank you. So our community care circle continues. You can see the number there. If you need some sort of support, please reach out to them. That's what they're there for. They're truly happy to help. Prayer requests. Our practitioners are always waiting and ready to pray with you or pray for you. So please visit the website and connect with them. We have our Zoom conversation at noon. It's always a thoughtful discussion. So we hope you'll join us at noon. Our next in-person service will be August the 13th. We will also be collecting school supplies. So there's, again, more detail in the newsletter and on the website. So upcoming Sunday, we've got Rev Joe back, and he'll be speaking to Awakening to Your Purpose. And then on the 13th, again, Reverend Joe, because we will be in person. So we so look forward to you joining us if you can. And if you can't for some reason, we will always be reaching out to you electronically. So join us either way, but we would love to see your face. So I think with that, Marina's going to pop everybody up so that we can do our closing affirmation. And the gang's all here. So something wonderful is happening through me right now.
It is this thing called life.
Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in all that I do.
I am it, I embrace it, and I share it.
Just the way that it is.
And just the way that it is becoming. Thank you.
Woo!
Thank you, everybody, for being here.
Join us.
Yes,
Join us again. Okay, have a wonderful day.